If you don't want the gameplay of Lone Echo revealed, then don't watch this series of videos. The series of videos provides solutions to all the problems in Lone Echo, and it may be that you're stuck on a particular part and you can't be bothered persisting with some intricate procedure, then you will find it in these videos. What you won't find is an inset video of me flailing my arms about using the touch controllers. You won't find hilarious comments on gameplay. You'll simply find solutions from start to finish, and if you like that idea, why don't you give them a try? In this episode, episode 10, we have the sole function of locating the antimatter fusion reactor and restoring it.
So, if you're from the future, what happens to us?
That information is of no strategic relevance.
Oh, come on. I am the captain. Do I have to pull rank?
Official records indicate Kronos 2 was destroyed by an unexplained spatial phenomenon. Olivia Rhodes was designated missing in action. There is no mention of Jack.
That's not exactly encouraging.
Apologies. I am programmed for fire control and tactical models. I do not excel at giving bad news.
No kidding.
If it is any consolation, there is no mention of my arrival in your time stream, so accounts of the incident are at best incomplete. If I believed our plight to be hopeless, I would classify this operation as salvage, not rescue.
That does make me feel a bit better, actually. I think.
The contamination here is significant.
The added energy of the ship's electrical systems appears to stimulate the biomass.
So it's feeding on the systems we're about to reactivate. Great.
I didn't say it was a perfect plan.
We're on our way to the main reactor, and we find that the biomass is largely inert. After we've reactivated the reactor, it'll be a totally different story as we find our way back to live along these same corridors.
What class of reactor is this? Fusion, I assume?
Yes, but not the kind you would be familiar with. It is catalyzed by antimatter.
Antimatter? You're asking Jack to handle antimatter?
Oh, not directly. He'll just be pointing high-intensity plasma beams at it. It's very safe. You can handle that, can't you, Jack?
Certainly. If today has proven anything, it is my core system's ability to adapt.
Can't argue with that. It's been one hell of a day.
I've reached the control room.
Excellent. Once you enter the main chamber, assess the status of the satellite generators. They power the magnetic containment field.
Is that how you stabilize the antimatter?
Affirmative.
We don't need this plasma control till later. It might be a little difficult to see in this video, but just under the left-hand side of that plasma there's a much needed power cell hanging in space. There are 3 satellite generators. The one on the left, indicating blue, is working. The other 2, one in the middle and one on the right, indicating orange, have to be restored. It's best to get the lie of the land before we exit the safety of the control room. The reaction chamber is highly radioactive and we don't last long. Exiting the control room on the right-hand side first.
Shields at 95%.
If our radiation shields are high, spitting cysts aren't fatal, but they may just push us right into the biomass, and that is fatal.
The generator needs more power. Make sure all 3 of its power cells are charged.
Power cells in place.
Confirmed. Now re-establish the generator's link to the containment field. Look for a control panel nearby. Magnetic field stabilizing.
And radiation levels increasing.
So they are. I'd get that last generator online as fast as possible if I were you. Once it's active, the containment field should be strong enough for us to restart the reactor.
We know that our radiation shield's going to expire soon and we'll find ourselves back in the control room.
Shields at 50%.
I find it much better just to commit suicide under these circumstances. It's the quickest way about it.
Shields at 30%.
We can see that the other dysfunctional satellite generator requires 2 power cells, and we've already discovered where one of them is. Don't be caught carrying a power cell when your radiation shield runs out, because after you've been restored, You'll then have to hunt down that power cell which will have floated off in the distance. This is my favourite, suicide by plasma.
Reboot initiated.
I think the cat must be sitting in front of the sensor again. This time we exit the control room from the left-hand side. Immediately below us is a charge station. This is a much safer station than the other one, and we use this to charge the remaining power cells.
Shields at 95%. Shields at 50%.
No time to get this cell back to the generator before our shield expires, so this time I choose suicide by cyst.
Shields at 30%. Reboot initiated.
Careful, Jack. Your radiation shield won't last forever. Try and keep it topped off.
I'll be more careful.
Shields at 95%.
You need to activate another generator to stabilize the magnetic field, Jack.
Shields at 50%.
I think I've just got time to make it to the charger with this power cell before my shields expire.
Shields at 30%.
Just in time, and I choose suicide by cyst.
Reboot initiated. Shields at 95%.
Curiously enough, even though we got the power cell into the charger before I expired, it's not taking on the charge, so I have to reseat it in order to achieve that.
Shields at 50%.
Damn Newton's third law.
Final generator operational. Now to connect it to the containment field.
Shields at 30%.
Magnetic containment field fully operational. It should hold during reactivation.
Assisted suicide by cyst.
Theoretically. We'll know for sure once Jack has returned to the control room and aligned the plasma beams with the core's intake valves. Do make sure they're in the right position, Jack. The reactor won't initialize unless they're perfectly aligned.
Reboot initiated.
Plasma streams aligned, ready for reactivation. Main reactor systems coming online. Initiating reaction in 3, 2, 1.
What was that?
One of the complications I spoke of. Fortunately, it does not seem to have caused any further damage to the reactor.
So we're not all about to go out in a giant antimatter annihilation event then?
Not presently, no.
I'll take it. Great job, Jack. Now get back up here as soon as you can.